We are about to check the rewards. These are not the official rewards. These are proposed rewards for the Fractured Archive, the new raid that is coming out most likely in December-ish, according to their timeline they released. But they did say that it might come out even earlier, which is pretty insane because it did say autumn, which is technically still early December at the very latest. So I'm guessing it's either gonna be slightly before Thanksgiving or just before Christmas. And that's my guess from just the timeline and the information that they've put out so far. A quick disclaimer before we start. We know this blog is going to start a lot of discussion. And we won't be back with the blog update within the week because of Dead Man 3. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Untradeable. The Fractured Archive teleport scroll. Fed up with running out of Guthix teleport scrolls? Why not get your hands on an ancient convenience item to provide unlimited teleports back to the Fractured Archive, similar to the ancient tablet used to upgrade the Xerix talisman. Cool. Okay. Infinite teleports is a good thing, just like the Drac talisman or whatever works for Tob. You don't want to be running there. That's not good. Elemental fragments. While these aren't the most game-changing account unlocks you'll ever obtain, you absolutely want to get your hands on elemental motes. Consuming one of these of each element will increase the max hit of all of that element spell by 2. Similar to the jewels from your Karis Partisan inside TOA. We expect these to be pretty common with some pity RNG mechanics at play to make sure you can check them off your to-do list in a reasonable time frame. Elemental motes. Consume a tier that Guthix shed in remembrance of that element, so you can use that element to better exploit enemies' weaknesses and dish out more damage. We're sure that it's probably what Guthix would have wanted. Okay, elemental fragments and Fractured Archive teleports. I am trying to imagine where this would be good. And for instance, you loot an earth mote. You consume the earth mote, and now you increase your max hit of all earth spells. So there must be bosses that are weak to certain elements inside of the raid. You consume a fire mote, and now you can do more damage to, like, yeah, the ice demon or something. Maybe inside of the raid, there's going to be a boss. I mean, guys, hear me out. I mean, Guthix is green. Green is weak to fire. Green equals trees. Trees hate fire. So gotta be like a fire raid, right? Surely? Trees hate fire, so fire strong against trees. He's wearing leaves. I'm cooking here, I think. In our premiere blog, we spoke about leaning towards an elemental weakness-focused armored set. This didn't seem to take flight among the community, but we did see a lot of conversion around the armor sets that serve multiple combat styles. So set out to explore what a so-called hybrid set might be looking like coming from a raid. A hybrid set. Okay. All right. There's the art. A little skull mask. A Lidness Ward. This is like, I don't know what this is. It's like a snake with a thing coming out of his mouth there. Magically constructed sheets of stone held together with roots. Staff of Balance. Hybrid magic melee armor. Wait a second. We already have hybrid melee magic armor. It's called Blue Moon. Is this going to be the new Blue Moon? Naturally, a set that's aiming to serve 2 combat styles can't be best in slot in either of them, but needs to be a compelling enough option that even players with max gear might opt for to increase their inventory space that comes with solving 2 styles within one set. While players not yet sporting absolute max will be pleased to obtain a piece, the set that we're proposing as a melee magic hybrid set, effectively mitigating the biggest downside of style-specific sets for melee or magic. There are no set effects or fancy passives, just solid numbers. Let's take a look at the stats and then contextualize them for those of you who haven't memorized every stat bonus in the game. All right, guys, this is going to be new Blue Moon. Blue Moon on crack. What if it's actually just a piece? What if you actually just loot like a leaf? You loot a little leaf on the ground, and then you rub it on your Blue Moon, you smack that ass, and then it turns into like blue grass. The bluegrass hybrid set. That's what they could call it. Oh, shit. It's going to be crazy. Damn. Chat. The bluegrass hybrid. Okay, hybrid helmet. You must be smoking that bluegrass. Yo, stop the cap. I'm cooking right here. Hybrid helmet. How much strength? 6 strength. What? How can a helmet? That's the same strength as Oathplate. For a helmet? 3 melee strength. 2% magic damage. That's Virtus. Chat, this gear is too good. This gear is too strong. No need for Oathplate. I mean, to be fair, the accuracy is like kind of meh, right? Let me see. Oathplate helm. Give me a side-by. Dude, the defense is crazy high on it too. Oathplate only has plus 10 slash. So it has heavy minus ranged on it. You are penalized a lot more for wearing it with ranged. But this is very good hybrid gear. The prayer is cracked. Okay, right off the rip, I'm going to say this gear is too strong. But it is a Raids 4 reward. What are you guys thinking about this right now? I think it's got too much defense. I mean, hybrid gear is cool, but it shouldn't be... This is too good, right? This is too good. Like, look, compare it to Blue Moon. Blue Moon stats. Can I just see all the Blue Moon gear? Blue Moon, I don't know. Blue Moon helmet. Actually, Blue Moon chest. Is it robe or something? Blue Moon chest. Comparing the Blue Moon body. This is 2 more accuracy. Defense is doubled. This thing has 108 slash defense. Melee strength is doubled. Prayer is 5. This is so good, bro. I mean, it is supposed to be the best gear in the game. You guys are right. It is supposed to be the best, right? Well, it's not supposed to be the best for each individual. So like Torva and Oathplate would still outperform this if you did a full swap. Ancestral would outperform this if you did a full swap. It's supposed to be worse than that. But I feel like this gear isn't penalizing you enough for not bringing all the switches. Because this is really good. I mean, okay, there's a fine balance between, is it even good enough for you to even consider it? And then there's too strong. Because for me, I'm looking at this. So what we actually shouldn't be comparing it to Blue Moon. It should blow Blue Moon out of the water. But is it too close to Oathplate? And is it too close to Ancestral? That's the question. So let's look at Ancestral. We're just comparing the body. First and foremost, this has double the defense of Ancestral. Triple. More than triple for slash defense. It does not have as high magic defense. And it has 120 range defense. Is it pretty much... Is it close? Should we compare this to Virtus instead? Dude, Virtus has no... This is 3 times the defense of Virtus. Almost the same accuracy. A higher range penalty. RM's robe top. It's 3 times... It's literally 3 times the slash defense of RM's. And it has melee strength. And it has 5 prayer. RM's is the tanky mage gear. This is 2 to 3 times. It's like 2.5 times better than Virtus and RM's for tanking. And it's good and it's pretty good for for melee too. It doesn't have great accuracy for melee though. It has almost 0 accuracy, right? This accuracy is pretty bad. So you wouldn't... I mean, Oathplate has 120 accuracy. Like, Oathplate is insane on accuracy. I guess we would... What about Torva? Okay, Torva has no attack bonuses, but it has 6 strength. Stab accuracy makes it literally honorable to Torva and TOA. Because it has stab accuracy, you're saying? Oathplate has slash accuracy. This is half. Wait, this is half of the. Sorry, this is half of the accuracy of Oathplate. Armor typically doesn't have accuracy bonus. Dude, this armor's, guys, this armor's too good. This armor's too good. It's 3 times the defense of Virtus and RMs. With the same magic strength as Virtus. You would never wear Virtus again. Like this completely gets rid of Virtus. It makes RMs terrible. It's honestly almost as good. With the accuracy, it could probably compete with Torva. Like, Torva's gone. RMs is gone. Blue Moon is gone. All of this shit is gone. It's literally Blue Moon on crack. It's so incredibly good. You honestly, I would skip Oathplate. I would skip Oathplate. I would skip Torva. I would skip Ancestral. I would go straight to this and play the whole game with this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I would spam Raids 4 until I got this. I would skip Yama. I would skip Nex. I'm going Blue Moon to Raids 4 straight up. Blue Moon to Raids 4. That would be new meta. If this was the gear, you would skip all that and go straight to this. You'll probably need good gear to do the raid. You know, you just need somebody else that's good at the game that's willing to carry you. You just need a friend that has max gear that's really good, and you just run with them. You just 8-man it. Good luck, probably the hardest raid. Yeah, that's what I would. I mean, that's what you could do right there. I don't have friends. I'm an Iron Man. I stand alone. I mean, if you're going to try to solo Raids 4, you're a badass anyway. You're going to be in max. And you're probably insane at the game. It might be... Raids 4 might be harder to solo than Tob. There's like not that many people that can solo Tob. Prayer is fine, guys. Guthix is all about high prayer. No. No, I don't think this gear... I don't know if this gear should have any prayer plus prayer bonus on it at all. Because this hybrid gear's too cracked already. If it had no... I don't know if it should have any accuracy bonuses for melee. The defense needs to be cut in half. And then I think we're talking there. And even then, it's still good, right? It should be the helmet's too strong. The helmet shouldn't have 6 strength on it. Defense and accuracy cut in half, prayer removed or cut in half, and then maybe the melee strength also cut in half. It could be as good as like Blood Moon or something. Maybe slightly better than Blood Moon, maybe like 1 strength more, but not 6 melee strength for a helmet. You're camping this helmet, guys. You are camping this helmet. This helmet is so good. This helmet's insane. Why would you ever take this helmet off? That's too good. Why is that a bad thing? This is a horizontal progression game. The moment you start messing with too many items that are close to BIS that are hybrid or tribrid options, like it's a slippery slope. Because now everybody is just going with this as meta now. Hybrid gear should be early mid-game balance. I like where Blue Moon's at in the game. But hybrid end-game gear is a slippery slope, I think. Nothing wrong with new metas? Okay. No, I'm in agreement. I think this is too strong. I'm in agreement that this is a cool concept for gear. It's too strong. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad idea. But these stats, these proposed stats, a little, you're messing with fire here because they're too strong, I think. If it replaces the old meta completely, it's over though. Yeah, I see this being a big deal here. It's a bit too strong. That's all I'm saying. They got to nerf it. I think the defenses got to go. Hybrid gear shouldn't have defense. This is crazy. Hybrid gear's got way too much defense, maybe way too much prayer as well. Like, this much prayer is crazy. And then the melee strength, the hybrid helmet has got way too much strength. For sure. I think the body and the legs may be okay. The helmet is OP. And then the accuracy on the armor, I don't know if it needs accuracy on the armor either. Like, this could be 0. This could be zeroed out, or at least cut in half, and then maybe 3 strength on the helmet, or something like less than 6. That's too much. 2% magic on each piece. That's comparable to Virtus, right? I think Virtus is 2% on each, but also has 2 prayer. Okay, assuming Raids 4 is the hardest piece of content in the entire game, and you can barely do it even in max gear, there is some room in the conversation for like this gear to be very good. But even then, it's still above and beyond, I think, what I would expect that line to be. I feel like it's still like very, very good. If people can do Raids 4 in Moon's gear, it's cooked. There needs to be like crazy DPS checks. Almost everybody needs to be like maxed out if this is the gear that's going to drop. You know what I mean? But I still do you guys agree that this is too much defense for hybrid gear? Like, this is just straight up mage gear, and it's 1/3 of the defense. And this is the tanky shit. Like, there's no way. Like, why would you 3x the defense of the tanky mage only gear? And it's 3 times the prayer bonus. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't know where they got these numbers. I think somebody messed up the numbers. No, I think this is like somebody messed up the numbers. Really hard to obtain? I mean, yeah, it's going to be hard to obtain, but I don't know. I don't know. This to me, like, I would just camp this gear. Like, for everything. I wouldn't really care too much about Oathplay and Torva and Ancestral for one magic damage per piece. Like, this gear is really good. Like, the only thing you need to bring is a range swap. This is good, man. Just the 3 free inventory is insane. Imagine being able to solo ohm with that gear and 3 extra brews. Hell yeah. I'm a Switchscape hater, so this gear is my biz. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the defense on Ancestral? It's like 50. So this is double the defense. Ancestral has 0 prayer on it, by the way. It's almost even with Ancestral accuracy. It's double and then triple the slash defense. Double the crush defense. Ancestral has 0 range defense. This is 100. This is like the strongest. Is this like the strongest range defense gear? This would be insane. This would be like the Inferno. Like, this gear is so good. You could like mage tank Inferno in this so easily. The magic defense is not great, though. Okay, the magic defense is not great. It's 120 range defense. What's Justy? Guys, Justy is 142. Strongest tank gear in the game. This is 120. It's just underneath Justy. It's like slightly worse than Justy for tank. And then you have, it's like Virtus. It's like prayer gear Virtus that has melee strength and Justy tank. It's just slightly under all of the bis. Yeah, this is crazy. More prayer too. Yeah, this is an interesting set of gear. Did anybody see this coming? Blue Moon on steroids? Justy has a set effect, though? Yeah. But we're just looking at raw stats. Double defense, prayer, and melee bonus of Nezi on the helm. I mean, the helm is way too strong. I think we can all agree on that. This has too much offense and too much defense and too much prayer. That's my take. And too much melee, and too much accuracy, too much defense, too much strength, too much prayer. That's my take. There we go. Okay. It just has a little bit too much of everything. It requires 75 magic and 78 defense to wear. Imagine all the new metas you can get by dropping like 3 or 4 switches with this. That's what I'm saying. You could bring way more spec weapons, niche weapons that are really good in certain rooms. It frees up more bag slots. It's going to be more forgiving. We can bring in more prayer, more pots for making mistakes. Okay, now let's read what Jagex had to say real quick. Let me mute this. To give some context to those numbers, here are the highlights. Melee accuracy bonus, more than Bandos, which sports none, but less than specific style options like Oathplate or Inquisitor. Excuse me. The helmet has the same. Notably, this is the first armor set sporting a stab accuracy bonus of any kind. So this would be the stab set. Additionally, magic accuracy bonuses. These are a smidge below ancestral robes. So it should remain very competitive at most content when you're using magic. No negative defense bonus. Defense, the set is slightly worse than Bandos against melee and range, but boasts a 28 magic defense. This magic defense is lower than that of ancestral robes, but the other defenses here more than make up for it. 16 prayer bonus, shy of proselytes 18. Noticeably lower than the 24 prayer bonus from Sunfire Fanatic armor. But in conjunction with the other stats here, is definitely nice to have. More melee strength in Bandos and Oathplate, but the full set is 5 melee strength less than Torva's. Meaning you'd always gain a max hit with melee and Torva. Are they trying to like maybe make up for their mistake here of making Oathplate too strong and accessible too early in the game? Are they trying to make Oathplate a bit less meta now? They might be trying to invalidate and make Yama a stepping stone. Because right now it's a mid-game option that's completely in-game. That might be what they're trying to do here, guys. They might be trying to invalidate Oathplate with this set. Maybe even 2 max hits in some setups. Magic damage in line with Virtus, but less than Ancestral. This means that if your max hit with no armor on is 34 above, you'd always gain an additional max hit with Ancestral over this set. For those of you already sporting best in slot gear for both styles, this set might not be the most valuable pickup of all time. But the stab bonus coupled with prayer bonus and positive magic defense might give it use cases beyond the other melee sets in some instances. For players looking for solid all-rounder set, excluding ranged, and getting to grips with raiding in general, we think this could be a really desirable unlock and well worth the space in the bank. No more bringing Void to learn the Theater of Blood and wondering why all you've done is slam Cerebrus. This set is obviously unlike anything we've made, so we'd be keen to hear what you make of it. Sets like this could open up space for hybrid weaponry that benefit from multiple bonuses or give us more options to flesh out other hybrid offerings like magic range and range melee sets. So it would be wonderful to work in something that matches your expectations. Why didn't they mention how... I mean, they did mention that it has defense slightly under Bandos. The way they justified these stats, in my opinion, is not great because they just compared it to like the other like top end options and they just made it slightly worse. But the thing is, if it's just slightly worse than all of the top end options, then that just makes, I feel like that just makes this too good. I don't know. Am I crazy? Like your inventory slots are like gear as well. Freeing up more inventory slots is like a huge power increase, because if you are not dead, you are doing more DPS. That's 100% damage increase. Those 3 extra slots, you know what I mean? In a lot of cases where you would be dead in the raid. So I'm okay with the idea of tinkering with hybrid gear. I just still think that this is a bit too high. And doesn't this completely break PvP? Doesn't this absolutely obliterate PvP? This gear is too much damage. Like, this is insane. Who cares about PvP? Let them take a 200 mil set to the wildy. Guys, be real with me. This gear is going to be worth a lot. Is this more than a 200 mil set? This set has got to be like a bill. This is a 1 billion set, maybe. At launch, maybe 2 billion. Depends on the drop rates. If Inquisitor was worth 1 billion on launch, this will be double. Probably more at launch. Yeah, this kind of crazy gear, guys. This is kind of cracked. They raised the gold cap for a reason. For this set right here, if this set releases like this, I'm personally like, I'd be cool not having Ancestral. Like this gear could get me Grandmaster. You could get Grandmaster in this gear, no problem, guys. This is your melee set and your magic set. I think you get GM in this no problem, and it has incredible defense. Like, I'm just thinking about GM right now, and this seems like the way to go. This covers, it's less switching for unks like me, and it's crazy. It's crazy good tri-stats. It solves everything. It does need a visual rework as well. That gel is ugly. Y'all not vibing with this or what? You don't like the leaves on the shoulders? It's like tanky cloth. It doesn't really work, does it? Tanky cloth. It's like plate chest with cloth legs. It's paladinish. No, it's like paladin with druid. It's like very, very crossover. Yo, hear me out. I don't know why I just thought of this, but like, what if a hybrid full set is too much? What if the hybrid full set is too much and they just released like maybe the helmet? What if they just came out with like one piece of it instead of a full set? That way it's not so OP. Oh no, you don't want it to be. I don't think we want any more tribrid gear in the game. I think Avernic should be the only tribrid piece, and maybe someday there's like new boots that are just better in each 3 slots. All right, so we're basically, I mean, this is probably, we haven't even got to the mega rare yet, but this gear is very controversial already. I'm gonna say that we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, but I think most people here are in agreement that this it seems a bit OP. Especially on the defense prayer and the strength bonus on the helmet. That's where I'm at with it. Okay, we're going to move on. Tradable Rondache. It's a type of shield. Guys, what's the Rondache? We saw loads of you asking for usable shields or interesting offhands. Since it's something we rarely see these days, past your defender unlocks, the difficult thing about making shields cool in old school is offense tends to be the best defense. Our damage formula means you're still likely to get hit extremely frequently in in-game content. And the easiest way to stop getting hit is to simply kill it. Kill the thing that's hitting you. Exactly. We don't think any gear, any single gear upgrade is likely to change this paradigm. But we did set out to see whether or not we could make a cool shield that had a clear use case and felt cool to use. Here's what we cooked up. All right. Okay, kind of looks cool with the Radiant. The Roundashe has 2 flat armor. Mitigated damage is stored as a charge in the shield. The shield bash special attack unleashes this stored damage without delay, similar to a Gmaul. Okay. That's fun to use. So you could just Gmaul somebody that's hitting you too much. Cool design. Okay, so what would this be comparable to? Let me check the stats. Consume all stored charges to quickly attack the enemy without delay. I mean, is this this could be a new tank meta in PvP. What if you Venge? Guys, Venge into the Roundashe. Venge into the Roundashe and then you spec them with a Void Waker? Could be kind of cool. Damage mitigated by flat armor is stored as a charge for the shield bash. 2 flat armor. This comes into effect after you've attacked while the Roundashe is equipped to prevent tedious shield swapping methods and reduces all incoming melee damage by 2. In a sense, this is perfect for mitigating chip damage. Cool! Avoidable small instances and damage that stack up to become a real nuisance. Which might make it a niche pickup for various combats like Ulm, Melee Inferno, Araxor, and loads of other places. How about Yama? Could be good for Yama. On top of that, the damage mitigated by the flat armor charges to the Roundash. How do you say Rondish? Is it Rondish or Rondashe? Up to 20. This means 20 damage mitigated by flat armor nets you a fully charged Roundash. I don't know why, but I just think of Ronda Rousey when I look at this name. The Ronda Rousey shield. This charge, I'll just call it a Ronda. I'll just call it, should we call it Ron or Ronda? We'll call it a Ronda. This charge can be expended as a special attack to form a shield bash. Bash fires off instantly like a Gmaul. Example, 16 charge would give a shield bash 16 plus 16% damage, totaling 18%. Totaling 18. So you can hit 18 with it. And it doesn't take any spec, huh? So this would be like a separate spec bar? Where would the spec bar be on your inventory? Or where would it be on your UI? I'd have to see this, man. It would be a second orb like a DFS. Okay, I've never actually used a DFS special attack, so like a Soul Reaper, like a second orb. Could be pretty cool. Percentager serves as an incentive to stack up charges for full or hold them till you can finish off your target. Brother, this could be kind of sick. Because Void Waker is a one-handed weapon. Imagine Void Waking and hitting him with a Ronda Rousey at the same time. And then swapping to a Gmaul. That's a lot of hit splats. All right, let's see. So, like, let's see what the stats are baseline in comparison to a Dragon Fire shield. This is better. This has more melee strength than a Dragon Fire shield. It has 8 melee strength. Half the defense, though. Half the defense since it's more of an offensive shield. No prey. All right, it's got about half the defense as a DFS with one more strength, and it has a special attack to be offensive. 2 flat armor is crazy because you're blocking 2 melee damage guaranteed. Same strength as a Vernic. Has more defense than a Vernic. And 55 range defense. Same strength as a Vernic with no accuracy. Ooh. But you can make up this accuracy with the new hybrid set. Wait a second. Did Tob just get worse? Did Tob just get worse, guys? Guys, is Tob just cooked? Scythe isn't even that great anymore, I bet. I bet Scythe and Avernic stocks are just going down the drain. Guys, Tob is just completely cooked. We haven't even seen the Mega Rare yet. Okay, Avernic is still good, but... Oh, God. Don't even tell. Dual crossbows. Oh, this is sick. What's better than one crossbow? Two crossbows. Guys, by the way, W shield. W shield. This shield is sick. Okay, that's my opinion. One crossbow in each hand, firing off bolts every 2 ticks. The ultimate run and gun. Dude, this is insane. Dual wielding crossbows. 2 tick. Dual wield bolts, diamond and onyx, enchanted bolt have effects, have 50% reduced chance to trigger. Okay. This is kind of crazy. Gunslinger style. We're about to be gunslingers. Dual wield crossbows. Okay, 37 attack. 37 accuracy. No. 6 range strength. Is it? Do you need to loot 2 of these or 1? Is it? Do both of them drop as 1 drop? Okay. In essence, while we think this approach to crossbow is cool beyond compare, we spent so much time crunching numbers only to conclude that these cannot be balanced around existing bolts and their respective effects. Instead, the Ascension crossbows will only be able to fire Ascension bolts, which will be readily obtainable by chiseling down ancient shards from the Fractured Archive. Okay, so it's kind of like Aladal arrows, or Aladal darts for the Eclipse Aladal. Okay. So you have to get Ascension ammo for it. 53 range strength, and then gem-tipped fracture bolts, 58 range strength. You'll notice for the time being, we're keeping the numbers for enchanted Ascension bolt variants limited. This makes it considerably easier for us and for you to understand the power of the Ascension crossbow and actually calculate their damage. So this is a 2-tick weapon. So this is better than the blowpipe. This is a blowpipe upgrade. But you need the special ammo. Onyx tip bolts, obviously a luxury. But we thought they'd be a fun inclusion and are already relatively balanced around their scarcity. Diamond tip bolts are an absolute staple, and we'll see the Ascension crossbow doing serious damage to tank targets. We want this to be a raid tier replacement of the toxic blowpipe. Okay. With plenty of room to grow and develop over time to opt and to add new variants of the Ascension bolts. The crossbows are bound to be spicy. So we'll leave them with you for now and move on to our final piece of our proposal. The one you've been waiting for. The Mega Rare. Our earlier blog heavily suggested we were leaning towards a crush-focused Mega Rare, which you seem to be expecting and on board with, though a good number of you felt it was a little safe or predictable. We do agree that it is a fairly safe option, but also think that it makes sense. And it's easy to add enticing use cases with new content additions similar to Scythe gaining a litany of use cases over the past few years. Shortly after, talented community artist Hunt OSRS dropped a suggestion that really seemed to resonate. So there's a great chance you've seen this concept already. Oh, Hunt's idea. Already, they might implement it. The one that we saw from Reddit. Okay, an endgame crush Mega Rare, original concept by Modjerv. Thrust has a 5-tick attack speed and grants a piercing effect with increased damage. Damages several targets in a line. Dude, you guys were kind of laughing at me when I said that there's no AoE melee damage. Like there really isn't like a AoE melee damage item. But this is kind of cool because it's not like a 360. Scythe is a little bit of Scythe is kind of AoE. Isn't it only on the spec though? This is AoE damage on the auto attack in a line. This is pretty cool. Scythe has no spec. Can you guys tell I've never used a Scythe before? Anyways, I always thought it would be kind of cool for like there to be like a good option, like a good melee option for Slayer, where you could like maximize your DPS with melee and train your melee stats So this might be a new really good option for doing like melee slayer and hitting more, like instead of just bursting all the time. Okay, damage scales with NPC size. Okay. It scales with the NPC size. Does that mean if it's a 4x4 target, you'll do more damage to it? Smash reduced the attack to a speed to 3 ticks, functioning as a fast, hard-hitting weapon with standard attack behavior. It does more damage to bigger mobs. And it can also be a 3-tick weapon without the damage bonus of like without the straight line damage. So only a single target. So you can go 3-tick single target with it. Or you could go 5-tick AoE Punisher to big mobs. I don't know what to call that. Dude, this is gonna like. How do you calc this? You have to calc based on the size of the mob now too. Like the calculators have to have the size of the mob included in their damage now. I never thought about that. Does Scythe already have this built in? God damn it. You guys are all in-game Andes, okay? Let me catch up, dude. I've never used a Scythe. This is kind of cool. So it functions this, I guess it functions the same way that Scythe does, because Scythe does more damage to big targets too. You use it in leagues? Yeah, but like, that's leagues. I started a Scythe rebuild last month. It's already down 115 mil right now. Oh no. It's a Crush Scythe. It's a Crush Scythe with the AoE straight liner, huh? If you can get all the Dust Devils stacked, you are just meleeing all of them, bro. This is going to be really good for training stats too. It's a 3-target cap? Oh god, okay, let's read. This looks like an awful lot, so let's try to put things as simply as possible. It hits big targets harder, similar to Scythe. Since its chain extends an additional 2 tiles, it is especially potent on targets who are weakest to crush. Oh, it's only 2. Okay. No, it didn't say how many targets it can hit yet. It's especially potent on targets who are weak to crush, since it will roll damage several times and pick the highest hit. Alternatively, the extending chain can hit several small targets in a line. Against small targets, you can opt for the smash style to lose the benefit above, but gain a hard-hitting 3-tick weapon, which will sport some niche additional use cases. We're looking at you, Nilokas. Okay. For those of you curious on the specifics, here's what we're currently working with. I wonder how the stats change when you go from 5-tick to 3. Rolls damage up to 7 times depending on how many defenses are higher than the opponent's crush defense. Can hit multiple enemies in a line or deal up to 50% bonus damage to larger targets. It's an extremely accurate weapon in the 5-tick. Loses piercing and damage roll effects from thrust, but attacks at a 3-tick rate. 40 melee strength. 120 accuracy. 3 prayer bonus. Hitting the same target multiple times will mean its hits deal 25 more damage per additional tile hit. This means hitting a 3x3 target will result in a hit that rolls up to 150% damage. Got it. A 2x2 can be 120% damage, and a 1x1 will just be 100% damage. So if you're fighting smaller targets, you probably want to be on 3-tick. If you're fighting a larger target, if you're fighting a 2x2, you have to sim it. And most of the time, probably if you're fighting a bigger target, 3x3 or bigger, you want to be on a 5-tick. So boss is 5-tick, small mobs probably 3-tick. Similar to the Scythe, the Breaker can hit up to 3 targets in a single attack. Okay, so if there's a 3 target max, whether these targets are in a line or stacked on the same tile is up to you. Damage is rolled multiple times. Effectively, the Breaker rolls dice damage for every defense: stab, slash, light range, standard range, heavy range, magic. Higher than crush on an NPC. This means that if an NPC is weakest to crush, you'll be rolling the damage seven times and picking the highest result. Holy crap. This thing is going to just always hit, like very, very hard and consistent, like a fang. A lot of the most popular suggestions that we saw for melee weaponry centered around AoE or multiple tiles coming into play, so we're hopeful this is a great starting point for Mega Rare that fills the crush space, but is a little more exciting than just big bonk. Just like our other melee Mega Rare, the Scythe, you'll need to charge it using some kind of resource. We have not decided on that yet. Chargescape hype! And Ascension Shards, which you'll be able to obtain from the raid itself, just like Vials of Blood. There's not a whole lot more for us to say, so we'll leave you with the important details and sign off. We're not expecting our first outing with these rewards to be an absolute bullseye, though it would be a nice surprise. But we think you should have plenty to go off of and discuss to help all of us work together for our best proposal possible. We'll let you know what we think of everything that we shared today. I think that this Mega Rare is a W, man. I like it a lot. It makes it one more exciting that you can change it and it does more damage. I mean, it is basically just a crush. I mean, and essentially it's kind of a crush Scythe that rolls accuracy. I don't know how many times Scythe rolls accuracy, but it sounds like it's just going to be one hit splat. It's just one very accurate hit splat per 5 tick, whereas Scythe is like multiple hit splats. It doesn't roll accuracy, it rolls damage. You'll be rolling damage. Ah. It rolls your damage and it picks the highest damage. So if you were to attack something 7 times and take the highest damage, then now you're hitting that like every single time. That's crazy. That means you're always hitting big damage with this thing. If it hits, it will always roll near max. It's the Fang on crack. Yeah, it is. It is, essentially. I mean, this has got to be the highest. This got to be, I mean, with that, it's got to be the highest DPS weapon in the game, right? For the mobs that are weak to crush. Anything weak to crush, this thing's going to absolutely destroy it. I mean, it's not going to be better than Scythe, probably in Tob, I would imagine. I mean, anything weak to slash, Scythe has got to be bis still. There isn't a lot of things that are weak to crush. I mean, obviously, this is like Raids 4, probably going to be some stuff in there weak to crush. Every Mega Rare that drops is always like bis in that raid, so new raid will obviously have a lot of crush in it. And then I'm pretty sure this thing's going to slap at Fasani, Araxor. I mean, the Inquisitor set might be pretty damn good in Raids 4. We were all kind of guessing that already. That's why they reworked Inquisitor. So we're already kind of looking at that. Yo, Sam B, thank you for the prime. It's like a 50% buff to the current DPS on Fasani. That's insane. 15 DPS on Fasani with this. Wow. Nightmare Mass. I mean, in October, I was planning on doing a night marathon. We're not there yet. Hopefully, this doesn't come out before October so we can do that. But that's on the schedule. They should have added a schematic to make Fortified Inquisitor. Fortified Inquisitor, huh? Basically guaranteed 35 damage every 5 ticks to a 3x3. Golly. Yeah, dude, this is exciting. Okay. I really like these rewards. The Mega Rare is a W. These right here, the new blowpipe, this is pretty cool. I like that. I really like this shield. Playing around with a shield with a cool offensive is a great idea. I like this shield. The hybrid gear, most controversial by far. There wasn't really... The only option they had was was plus stab gear, right? And plus stab gear just seems kind of boring. So I see why they went with this hybrid option. There wasn't really anywhere else to go. But the hybrid gear is a bit too strong in my opinion. That was the only thing. And then obviously nobody's really... I feel like most people in the chat were not messing with the art, the concept art so far. So that's kind of the TLDR of the review of the new items and the new armor. Is there a place where we can vote on this yet? Or leave any feedback? I mean, it's going to be tough to make cloth plate. Because that's what they're making. They're making magic tank melee armor. Reddit? I've never even been on the OSRS Reddit. Is this OSRS Reddit? I don't know how to use this website. Raids rewards are looking familiar. Ascension crossbows. What is this? Is this RuneScape 3? RuneScape 3 has these? It's an RS3 copy paste. They were my favorite. I have them. Top 5 OSRS moments. W Gnome. That was so cool. Alraxor, Greenlog, Slayer in one task. Nice. Can you filter by like recent or whatever? Maybe see what people are saying on here. Very excited for the M16A4 Mecha Rare. Okay. Scroll up on the right is filters. Up on the right, there's filters. I've never used Reddit. There's not a lot of people posting about the new Mega Rares, huh? It's all here. The Fractured Archive initial rewards proposal. It was only a few months into playing when TOA rewards were being decided. I cannot wait for the Reddit shitstorm this will cause now with 4 years of experience in context. Everything is Jagex Goblin. Everything is a process, and this being the 4th raid just brings with it super unique challenges without any right answers. Expect it to be a complicated decision to navigate, but ultimately don't think we're under any illusions that it's possible to make everybody happy here. Just hopefully as many as possible. Are we forgetting Mixed Hide has stab accuracy? I run it for high-level TOAs, especially because it's stab. Melee accuracy bonuses more than Bandos, which sports none, but less than the style-specific options like Oathplate or Inquisitor. Notably, this is the first armor set sporting a stab accuracy bonus. Mixed Hide? Mixed Hide has stab? Yeah, it does. Mixed Hide top and legs has 7 accuracy. How does the Ronda Rousey special work? Will it require a second special charge orb? Yeah, that's what I was asking. Typically, the special attack orb has been on the weapon, not the offhand. For example, the Dragonfire shield. Mixed Hide's the best budget TOA gear. Ascension crossbows look great and distinct from their RS counterparts. Would have liked to have seen them introduced with an OSRS version of the Order of Ascension rather than being included in the Fractured Archives, but excited to see the spin. Digging all these designs in terms of art, and shout out to Hunt OSRS for the concept being included. I think the Breaker feels out of place for a Guthixian-based raid. The Mega Rare itself is cool, though. The name of the weapon and the theme of it feels out of place for a Guthix raid. It feels more Inferno-like with the current colors. What if they changed the glow to green? Tazar can work. They were descendants of the original creators of Gielinor and would have been one of the only sentient creatures around when Guthix arrived. The Tazar-Ket being the guardians of the Tazar, and the name being Tazar-Ket Breaker, and not something like Tazar-Ket Zil, Holy Guardian Killer. It implies that maybe the weapon wasn't actually used by the Tazar and was potentially given to Guthix or stolen by. My theory is that the weapon kept the original Tazar as obedient, mindless laborers that had been sitting dormant ever since the Elder Gods left, and Guthix taking it allowed them to develop free will. All right, we got some freaking lore going on over here. The nerds hit them with the, well, actually, buddy, at the beginning of time, when Guthix stole it from the Tazar, thus creating them and making them formate the rocks, and then they were sad, creating the first tiers of Guthix because they cried after the Guthix stole their weapon, thus creating +2 damage to water. Bitch. The Tazar have very particular relationship with the Elder Guard Full, who is completely unexplored in OSRS. Other than some very, very vague references, it is very on brand for Guthix or his followers to be interested in something like that. Okay. I don't think the new Mega Rare makes sense. If thrust pierces in a line, it's stabbing through enemies to do so. What the fuck? But it's not a stab weapon. It's a crush weapon. I know why I don't have a freaking Reddit account. I know why I don't read this shit anymore. I know why I've never read this shit ever, actually. Guys, what if the damn thing attacks like this and it crushes the ground in a line? Like, what if they just change the animation? This makes no sense. I hate the idea of hybrid gear. Okay, all right. Here we go. A massive part of the gameplay loop in this game is collecting the gear for each style. Whether you're a main or an iron, hybrid gear is either so good you just skip whole upgrades for styles, or B, a useless noob trap. I mean, yeah, that's both, right? Edit. Also, to add to my reservations, a big part of skill expression in this game is gear switching. I am loath to see lazy gear becoming viable in the end game. I get it for mid-level shit like demonics where people camp clips, but you made a whole boss to teach gear switching. I don't want to see lazy gear camping in the end game too soon. The crossbows look interesting, but have you considered a new set of bolt effects for ascensions? You could limit it to only few gems as you have here and might help to escape the ruby problem. It does feel a bit strange for ruby bolts not to exist if otherwise the effects are all the same, but I do appreciate they're busted and tough to balance around. The shield sounds so cool. I think I need to play with it to see how it feels. How would the spec interact with weapons that have a spec of their own? Does it override the orb? Also slightly worried about how creeping the Avernic will be, the Avernic effect, well, how creeping the Avernic will affect Tob, which is already down super bad. Guys, 07s. Can we just everybody type of 07 for Tob? Just everybody just type of 07 because Tob is done for. Guys, we got hybrid gear. We got a new crush weapon. Like, scythe stocks are down. Avernic stocks are down. Tob was already down. But this Raids 4 just buried Tob. I'm sorry, guys. Tob is done for. Good riddance, brother. Like, I don't know what they're going to do here. I don't know what they're going to do. It's just, I don't think you need, like, once this weapon is out. I mean, yeah, Scythe is better in some places, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You might just be like a Fang. You grab this weapon. You get the hybrid gear. And you just rock Fang and Breaker. I got to get used to saying Breaker. Fang and Breaker. This is the new Scythe. And it's cooler because you can swap between 3-tick and 5-tick. I love that. The Mega is an interesting idea. I'm a bit disappointed that it occupies a similar niche to the Scythe and that it's super strong against big monsters. I would have liked to see something that scaled damage against a different group of monsters. But it does sound super strong and fun to use, especially with the way it rolls damage. Not how sure that how useful the Pierce is going to be. But you've been great about designing content that takes stuff into the advantages, as we've seen with the Venator bow. So I'll reserve judgment. On the shield stuff, also possible we could add a second bar. We'd want to make sure the implementation feels good as opposed to the DFS, which we could retrofit with the new tech. We did consider new bolt effects for them, but though it might get even more complicated to talk through if we're discussing crossbows and a billion new bolt effects. The hope is that we would split the spec orb bar if people like this and we move around to its implementation. We could split the spec orb and bar. Like cut it in half? I think that needs to be 2 separate orbs. Maybe the orb just appears when you equip the shield. That would be kind of tough. Not a huge fan of the best stab armor being hybrid. Also, hybrid armor is just not exciting. I would love to see a stab armor set. Dual crossbow would be cool, but crossbow overall need rework entirely. I don't like when people just like say stuff like this, but then they don't give a solution. They just like point out a problem. I don't like when people just point out a problem. Like if you're going to point out a problem, think about the solution first and then propose it. Agreed that crossbows more broadly ruby bolts in general need work, hence us taking a kind of future-proof approach here rather than giving us more to disentangle. Did you think Ascension bolts will end up being the same thing that Vials of Blood have, where players will be asking for sources outside the raid at some point? That's a good point. And then they're actually allowing you to farm Vials of Blood outside of Top now. So Ascension bolts might be, I mean, forcing you to run raids 4 to get Ascension bolts for your weapon after you've already greenlogged might feel a bit. Maybe it would be nice to have another way to farm it. I think that's a good idea. Have there been any considerations to use other gem types instead of Diamond and Onyx? He answered that. I think a stab set should come from outside of a raid, like the other melee style specific armors. Okay. That is true. There is no raid that has melee specific armor right now. It's literally God Wars into Nex. Well, Nex is still God Wars. So it's God Wars, Yama right now. I mean, melee bis sets don't even come from raids right now. I never really thought about that. That's why they want to have a raid with melee armor. Oh yeah, and then Inquisitor comes from Fasani. Wow, forgot about Jussie. No, that's defense armor. That's not melee. I guess, I mean, technically it's... I don't know. It doesn't have melee strength. I'm very excited for this armor set. I think hybrid armor is great, especially in terms of progression. It's really quite close to stuff like Torva, Oathplate, and Ancestral, with great prayer bonus too. The armor is the reward I am personally most excited for. And also to me, it seems very, very clear that they will add the stab armor equivalent in the future. This raid, we get hybrid, and the next one, or sometime down the road, we get a stab specific. Oathplate and Inquisitor are also not from raids. IMO will feel real weird for one of the 3 melee armor sets to come from a raid, while the other 2 are standalone bosses. I would rather just get a stab Yama next year or in the 2 years, and that armor set would be an instant hit as the only real reward from a boss. This raid has several other rewards, with the armor just being one of them. So I think it's better to put in the risky armor set here. Agrees. In fact, getting a stab armor set would be just not exciting. Yeah, it wouldn't be. I think a stab Yama... I never thought about it till now, but I think maybe a stab Yama could be a good idea for content. A new Yama, where you just get a stab set of gear. On first read, I believe this hits a nice balancing level too. Having the option to cram an extra set of brews in your inventory for TOA and Cox utility seems very fun. I don't know if it purely dampens skill expression, but it could move towards a chess game instead of consistently proving you can do an X-way switch. So stab Mega Rare next raid with a stab Yama at some point before the raid comes out for raids 5. I mean, inevitably, that's probably where the game would go, because eventually you just have every hole filled that the game needs. I'm liking the idea of hybrid armor. I just think that the hybrid armor might be a little bit too good. That's the only thing I'm concerned with. To be honest, I think if this hits the game, I'll only rock this armor and not keep Torva or Ancestral. I actually think this too. It's good enough to replace either and doesn't need a switch. Sure, you could lose slight damage, but it's got great prayer and mage bonuses. Having 3 free spots is more ideal. I feel this way too. Only spot you'd really want the others one style specific places And if prices stay the same, it's not really worth the upgrade for the slight DPS increase, even more so than now. Yeah, that's what I think is the biggest issue with the hybrid gear, is it's so close to full bis. Like minus one, like one top end damage for the prayer, the defense, and then the hybrid switch with the 3 extra armor spaces, 3 extra inventory spaces. It's just so good. I don't know, guys. I think the prayer might be slightly too overtuned. The defense is overtuned, and the melee strength might be overtuned as well. That's what I'm thinking right now. And maybe they have to dock it. They have to nerf. If they nerf those 3 stats, I think we've got a pretty good solid set here. A good idea. And I think we're very close to a solid armor set for Raids 4. And the hybrid armor is seriously cracked for PvP. It's tank gear with magic attack and strength. Yes. Yes, but it'd be a one. You'd be risking 1 billion to fight in Hing. I don't know how they're gonna balance it against PvP. If you see anybody in this gear in the wilderness, just run. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you see somebody pull up in the Raids 4 hybrid gear in the wilderness, just run. Do not fight that. You're literally fighting somebody. You're literally fighting somebody in Torva Virtus. You're fighting somebody in Torva Virtus Sunfire. Yeah, that's a raid boss right there coming at you. Just run. And Torvirtus. It's literally Torvirtus gear. It's kind of scary. It's literally a maniac for even being in that gear out there. I mean, if you see somebody in Torvirtus, take off, brother. That's all I'm saying. Watch out, because Terry might be rocking that. If they have the confidence to PK in 1 billion bill of gear, run even faster. That's what I'm saying. Hybrid is bad design. I'm going to counter with 2 words. Perilous Moons. Which has been one of the greatest additions to RuneScape of all time. However, it is mid-game. In-game hybrid is a totally different story. And I'm wondering if in-game hybrid is healthy for the game. And that's what I'm worried about. I feel like the armor doesn't fit very well in gear progression. It seems like it'll be a one-stop shop for anyone not max. Pushing value use cases of bandos down even further than it's present, while also stepping quite heavily on Oathplate's toes, which is our newest melee armor set, and Virtus, a very rare set of armor. Simultaneously, anyone already using max gear, Oath, Torva, Scyther, Ancestral, and Shadow, will have absolutely no reason to go for this gear. Theoretically, the hybrid nature means you could bring more swaps, but I feel like most people in max setups can already comfortably do most content. It feels less like a stepping stone in progression and rather a large boulder crushing previous gear sets beneath it. TLDR, this armor somehow steps on pre-existing armor's use case scenarios, while it's being functionally useless for max players. That was the best take on Reddit today. I'm not capable of seeing it for somebody that's, in fully max gear. But people that are already fully maxed, this does not excite you at all. Unless you're a main and you're going to sell it for 1 billion. This is the most base Reddit comment I've seen. And while if Raids 4 is going to be the hardest raid, I didn't think about how it might feel bad to get something that's not BIS for anything. It's both too good and not worth using. Hardest raid for noob gear. I counter with Justicar or Justiciar for some of you professionals. I counter with Justicar. Nobody uses that armor anyway. At least people would use this armor. Why design another raid with TOB problems? Okay, so just because they've failed this, they've had this problem. I wouldn't say failed, but like they've had this problem with armor from raids before. It doesn't mean they should repeat history. I get that as well. I really think one of the biggest problems with this is how good it is for PvP. It's just insane. It has too much defense. I think the biggest problem with the armor is it has too much defense. That's the biggest problem. It's okay. There's only 300 people PvPing anyways. It's game breaking for PvP. Imagine using a ladle with it. It's just straight up one-way switch. Well, it would be. I mean, yeah. I guess a ladle's not the greatest because it has significantly bad range accuracy. But yeah, All Stars 4 about to go wild, dude. You already know everybody in All Stars 4 is going for this. You can't balance gear around PvP and PvE at the same time. If you try that, you fail at both. You have to choose one. No, I mean, PVM gear always breaks PvP in some way. It's a really impossible thing to balance around PvP or to balance around both. The solution is the blowpipe a ladle solution. Make it shit worse in PvP. PvP has a ton of gear of weird rules already. Maybe there's no defense, or maybe the defense doesn't work when players are hitting you or something. They balance the blowpipe by making it worse in PvP than in PvM. Okay, yeah. There you go. There you go. That would work. They're going to have to do something, I guess, for PvP. But as long as they can do that, I mean, I think it's totally fine. I think it's still too good. But we'll see. +2 elemental damage consumption. An interesting compromise to elemental robes. Not the biggest fan against there. I feel a bit non-interactive. Hybrid armor set. Personally, not a fan. Firstly, why is a hybrid set the place we decided to make a stab set as well? Just make a stab set, ? Secondly, where would we actually use this outside of the case you mentioned of you don't have the other gear yet, but get this earlier? It's a slightly better oath plate, but not on anything with defense, I'd imagine. It's Virtus with everything but Ancients, so Virtus feels more trivial and pointless to go for. Demoted to Slayer robes. It sort of feels like this tramples on a lot of gear space without much consideration and doesn't really gain us anything interesting or move the needle either. I think a hybrid set is really desirable in-game gear. Oh, it isn't really desirable in-game gear. I don't want to minimize switches as aggressively as this. Treads are an okay one-off, but I don't want to see the idea of just wear the everything gear being applied to so many slots, especially when it's occupying a raid reward, essentially provides single boss drop level stats and nothing much else. I mean, what is the solution? Is the solution just to make a really good stab set from the raid? Like, what's the solution? I see a lot of people saying they don't like the hybrid set, but what's the solution? Like, we have to solve this for Jagex if they can't solve it. So what is it? Reddit moment, nobody agrees. New, different armor. Killing Torva when it's already mostly dead is a wild take. Anything but hybrid, that's not a solution. Nobody knows what they want. Guys, give me a solution right now. What's the better option? Elemental robes or no armor? They should have just done the elemental mage gear. Elemental mage gear for the standard spellbook that gives plus damage to like standard spells. What happened to the Inquisitor combine? Buff Oathplate. What up, Sard? You taught me to Dougie? Hey, you're welcome, bro. Virtus statted robes that boost elemental. So we already have Virtus robes for bursting. And now you're asking for a set of robes that is just good on the standard spellbook for elemental. Stronger than ancestral? Would anybody use those? Honest to God, thought they were going to be adding something similar to the Shadow Flame Quadrant Devil's element for the standard spellbook. I say ditch that and bring back the Inquisitor Justy set. The Inquisitor Justy set. I think Ancestral has no place if we have Ellie robes and Virtus. Well, Ancestral would be best for powered staffs, which is meta because of Shadow. Honestly think 3 items in an armor set is too little. Well, right now we can't even decide on the armor set. So let's work on one thing at a time. The only thing that they got all the weapons right. And the shield. The shield is a weapon too. So all those are bangers. A hybrid mage and range set. So a new Eclipse alternative instead of a new Blue Moon alternative. Well, Eclipse? No, Eclipse is melee. Wait, there is no mage range hybrid. Wait, there is no mage range hybrid in the game. Is he cooking with that? Dave, thank you for the prime. It would be even worse for PvP than this. Would have had no defense on it. I guess that's basically just void. I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you. Have it give the Sandwich Lady outfit. Haxor wants the Sandwich Lady outfit from Raids 4. Let's finish reading this post. He doesn't propose anything besides why not make a stab set. So this is his idea instead of the hybrid set. You have a stab set, you'd have a Torva set, you'd have an Inquisitor set, then you'd have an Oath Plate set. So you'd have 4 sets of gear that you have to bring and swap around. Torva is the stab set. If they add a stab set, does that kill Torva? Horizontal progression, guys. Horizontal progression is hard to deal with. Torva would need a compensatory buff. That's a word. They would need to buff Torva. There's no solution that resonates with the community well. Hybrid set, question mark? Bad. Because there's a vocal amount of the community against having a bunch of hybrid gear. Better than current raid gear? Bad. Because it makes old content obsolete. Reality is at some point, either of these two choices are the only way forward. At some point, old content does become less relevant. Unless you're an Iron Man who has to progress through the old content gear to gear for the newer content. I think we're all in agreement that you should have to have very good gear to be able to beat the DPS checks in Raid 4. I think that you shouldn't be able to do Raids 4 in Blue Moon gear. I'm hoping heavily that you won't be able to do Raids 4 in Perilous Moons gear. But you will need better gear for it. However, this hybrid set of gear, this is why I was proposing, what if it wasn't an entire armor set? But what if there was one piece of gear that was good for mage range, one piece of gear that was good for like melee range, and then the other piece was good for like magic melee or something like that. It was like one of each piece. So it wasn't like a full set. And so you'd have to mix and match it. Then we'd all be walking around looking ugly. Yeah, and then the other proposed idea I had earlier was, what if it wasn't a full set? It was just a helmet that was like good at both or something like that. For gear swapping, that suggestion seems painful. I mean, that's what RuneScape is. It's deciding what gear you're going to bring in and making you think about it. It's making you think about what gear swaps you're going to bring in. And if I'm going into a fight and there's a boss where I'm going to be using only 2 styles of fighting, then it gives you more options to like calculate in your head which am I going to bring? Do I want to sacrifice this piece of gear to bring one more brew? Like those kind of things are something that to think about. A better Nezi face guard isn't bad. Yeah, I mean the idea of the Nezi face guard, maybe an upgrade to that for Raids 4, what doesn't seem so bad, but a full hybrid set. I think a full hybrid set is seeming a little sus. In-game content should not be able to do with Moon's gear. Don't really know if that's a hot take or not. I think the set is very sus. Okay, do you guys like the suggestion or no? If it wasn't a set with like equal stats, but like one piece was good for 2 types of damage, the other piece was good for 2 different types of damage, and then the third piece was good for 2 different types of damage. So you're really only taking one piece of it. It wouldn't be an armor set. You've always been able to do in-game content in easily obtainable gear. Before Moons, it was stuff like Torso and Obsidian. Yeah, I mean, somebody will be able to do it, Haxor. I'm sure somebody will be able to do it, but obviously very skilled players, right? What if it was just a helmet? So it's like, what I was saying earlier is like, this helmet, like imagine, okay, let me show you guys. Yo, Silent, thank you so much for the prime. This helmet stats is too good. as a set. But if it was only the helmet that dropped, and this is just the new BIS hybrid helmet, you would wear it like the freaking helm from Zulrah. You'd wear it with like almost everything. Then I think it could be kind of okay. Now, you wouldn't wear this with range. You'd still need a range swap. But if it was just one helmet, if the helmet was a reward from the raid, it wouldn't be so bad. It would be like the upgrade to Nezanot. And I think it's not so bad when you look at it from this angle. Would replace Blorva helm? Yeah. But like everything gets replaced. But it wouldn't replace the full Torva set. You're replacing one item. If you're not running if you're running Shadow, not using Ancestral is a max hit. Nobody uses chest and legs because of Oathplate. This set makes switching actually worse. Your inventory gets F'd the entire time. I mean, yeah. Well, you're not going to be. You probably wouldn't swap off this. You'd only bring 3 swaps. You only bring your range swap. It's not overpowered. It comes from in-game content and isn't even BIS. It's for PKers and noobs that can't switch armor. Does this feel good as a person that's in full max to get from an in-game raid? Anybody in the chat, if you're in full max, are you excited about this? So this is not great for people in full max, right? I'm excited about this because this allows me to skip content. But I'm an Iron Man who's like in the early in-game right now. I get excited about that because I'm like, oh, I don't have to do as much Cox. I don't have to do a Yama. I don't have to do this. I just go straight to Raids 4, get the hybrid gear. We call it a day. I can skip Torva 2 now. So I don't know if that's a good thought either. I don't know if that's good for the game either. So I think it's too good and it's not good enough at the same time. And that's the best take I can give on this armor set. But if it was just one piece, it wouldn't be as bad, I think, as a full set. That's horizontal balancing, baby. This is so hard. This is so hard, man. This is just really hard to fix and to think about and to offer a new solution in place of the current one. Doc are really catching that tan. Hey, we got to get ready. We got to get ready for Mykonos, man. Upgradescape, Justy, or Inquisitor? You think they should drop a piece of gear that just upgrades already existing gear in the game? You going to Greece? Yeah, we're going to Greece after DMM. Easiest solve would be to not make people pissed off is Fortified Inquisitor. That's what Masori and Armadillo did already. You can make it have some sort of set effect instead. But the thing is, they're moving away from that concept clearly. I would like a Void upgrade. Nah, you can't make Tribrid armor good. I think it's not a good idea. I think Void needs to stay where it's at. Upgradescape serves a good purpose, but there is a point where it feels excessive too. This is what I was saying yesterday, is like old school RuneScape is in such a good spot. You know the game is in such a good spot when you can't think of anything else good to add to it. Like, there really isn't anything the whole community would agree on that, hey, like, this is good for the game. That's because old school RuneScape is in a really good spot right now. It's very well designed. And they filled almost all of, like, the holes of the game already. It's like, this is how you know you have a good game, when you cannot think of something good to add to it. It's in a great... RuneScape's in a great spot, man. It's just in a good spot. It gets more of a problem each update. If only we didn't have Doom and Yama. The Yama and Doom rewards are very good, but that's what makes them exciting to go and do. Just add the new weapons and scrap the armor. I don't care what anyone says. The new armor is goated. It's literally Perilous Moon's gear on crack. It's Blue Moon on crack. I don't know, guys. Like I said, it feels too good and not good enough at the same time. And that's a hard thing to explain. But people in Max are not going to be excited about getting this gear. And Iron Men are just going to be rushing for it and skipping content to get there. Like I would skip as much content as possible to get this gear and just go straight to this. Like, I would not do Yama. I would not do Cox. And I would not do Virtus. I wouldn't do Tob at all anymore. I would just go straight to Raids 4. Like, just from my perspective, I'm skipping like 4 pieces of content now if this gear comes out. I'm skipping Yama, Desert Treasure 2. I'm skipping Nex. Well, I guess I would have to get the Nihil Horn. No matter what. And then I'm skipping like 4 pieces of content and going straight to Raids 4 to get this hybrid gear. Because for mid to late game Iron Man, this gear is so good, and the one max hit that Ancestral gives is not worth it to me. I would go straight for this gear. I would be like, in my opinion, if I did another Iron Man playthrough or even the current one I'm on, I would stop farming Yama and stuff like that. I would go straight to Raids 4 as quickly as possible, and I would grind out this gear because that's how good it is. You're not even going to be able to get a KC at Raid 4 Little Gup. By the time Raids 4 comes out, guys, my clicks are going to be so insane. You're going to be saying, is that Sard Monkey? Is he that guy? Like, you guys don't know. You guys don't know. You guys don't even, like, give me 6 months. Is that Sardoti? Is that Sardota block? You guys don't know what's going on, okay? No, not Sardvesta. Don't call me Sardvesta. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. I'm talking about PVM here, okay? No, not Sard specs either. Guys, calm down, okay? Calm down, okay? You guys see me solo Cox with like 5 brews left over? Perfectly lining up the ticks. No mistakes. Thank you. Looting T-bows. That's what goes on over here. None of this craziness. Sardaga. There we go. There we go. The O12 Sard is coming back for Raids 4. Listen, I am going to be there on Raids 4 for 1 week, just pounding that thing, getting so much gear. I'm probably going to have 100 KC in the first week. Wait and see. Wait and see. I'm going to have a deck scroll too by then. Hopefully. World first KC in this stream? Could be. Could be. All right. You see how fast I figured out the Awakened Cow? That's what I'm trying to say. What do you think of the visual design of the rewards? It doesn't fit with the Nature Guthix theme they're going for. I mean, somebody on Reddit came up with a good concept that like the Tazar were there at the time that Guthix created the world. So like anything Tazar theme might actually fit with the Guthixian temple era. I don't know the lore. You're going to have to ask Jimmy. We might have to bring in Jimmy for this one. New players currently skip the raids except 3 starting out, then later do raids 1 and 2. BP Cuddy, what did you just say? I have no idea. What are you talking about? That mega rare is so hilariously bad thematically, it's insane. He's saying they only do Toa. Oh. Yeah, but Cox has the most amount of gear that you need. Like they put too many good items in Cox. So Cox is like the best raid overall. Guys, I quit my job to become a streamer, and this is what happens. You get first-time chatters that just type in all caps bald. This is just crazy. All right? Like, become a streamer, they said. Unbelievable. Tell them the rules about balanced chat messages. Yeah, listen here, buddy. 1 nice chat, 1 troll chat. Start checking your logs. Start throwing down the freaking Tazar Ket banhammer and crushing these people that don't have balanced logs, okay? You still have better hair than me, to be honest. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sard is a real good-looking dude. Also bald. Okay. All right. That's a balanced log right there. 1 and 1. How can this weapon do 150% damage to Eevescape? Guys. What are we talking about? Watch Gnome's opinion. Let's watch Gnome's opinion on the armor set. Honestly, The armor set is the biggest deal. Let's see. Does it get to the armor set? All right, let's see. It's actually pretty early on in the review here.
So it's got a little bit of use outside the raid as well. I think this is a good addition as well. I like this. Tradable hybrid armor set. Okay.
Finally, I can have an opinion. Are you literally just going to agree with whatever Gnome says already, Novas? What's wrong with you, bro? Form your own opinion in life. Also, I agree with whatever No Monkey says.
I think this is the only reward that I really don't like. I think this is the only one. We'll get into that. So we spoke about leaning towards an elemental weakness focused armor set. This didn't seem to take flight among the community, but we did see a lot of conversation around armor sets that serve multiple combat styles. So set out to explore what
some of these guys have already been regurgitating his takes in here. Are you guys watching No Monkey videos, coming into my chat and then telling me his opinions as your own and then typing them in all caps and then saying bald at the end of it? What the hell is wrong with you guys? Idiots. Go back to Reddit. Also follow the stream and make sure you keep me open on your second monitor at all times. Thank you.
Called hybrid set might look like coming from a raid. The armor does look very cool though. Like if you were going to make a Guthix armor set, they kind of cooked. I really like the way it looks, I will say. A set that's aiming to serve 2 combat styles can't be best in slot in either of them. Nope, definitely not. But needs to be a compelling enough option that even players with max gear might opt for the increased inventory space that comes with solving 2 styles with 1 set. While players not yet sporting absolute max will be pleased to obtain a piece, the set that we're proposing is a melee magic hybrid set, effectively mitigating the biggest downside of a style-specific sets for melee or magic. There are no set effects or fancy passives, just solid numbers. So let's take a look at the stats and then contextualize them for those of you who haven't memorized every stat bonus in the game. Yeah, even I haven't done that, unlike each. All right, let's take a look at this. Hang on. Okay, so we've got 2% mage damage, 2% mage damage, 2%. Okay, so all the pieces are 2% mage. We've got 6 strength on the helmet, 4 strength on the body, and 3 strength on the legs. A good amount of strength bonus. Tons of prayer bonus, which doesn't matter in PVM very often, but that will be useful to some people in some situations. And then we have melee accuracies and mage accuracies on each piece. Now, the first thing I'm noticing is the stab accuracy. Stab accuracy is pretty rare as far as armor sets go. Your only option for that is like mixed hide. So I think this is going to have crazy uses in like a TOA situation where you're...
Okay. People in max gear. I'm talking to the maxers right now. Would you guys have a use for this gear? Would you be able to make usage of this gear at all with the stab bonus in TOA? You guys would use it? Okay. Fashionscape over stats. Okay, all right. I can't believe everybody in my chat has max gear, by the way. I cannot believe all of you guys are maxed. Zuckhelmers. You're just the noob? Unbelievable. So you guys would probably, the maxers would probably use it in TOA.
You're definitely bringing both mage and melee armor. This could replace your melee armor, and then you could end up bringing something that's going to give you stab bonus on your fang and also give you mage bonus. It sounds really, really good for TOA. Let's read their notes.
Oh, Gnome said that. No wonder you guys are saying TOA. You guys can't have your own opinion. You guys are always trying to copy off the guy who has hair in the class. Unbelievable. Why does nobody cheat off me?
Accuracy bonuses more than Bandos, which sports none, but less than style-specific options like Oathplate or Ink. Notably, this is the first armor set sporting a stab accuracy bonus of any kind. Additionally, magic accuracy bonuses. These are a smidge below ancestral robes, so should remain very competitive at most content where using magic. No negative defense bonuses. Defensively, the set is slightly worse than Bandos against melee range, which is still really good. Keep in mind how tanky Bandos is. Like, a hybrid armor set that gives you this much defense is interesting because stuff like Blue Moon and Mixed Hide is paper. It's literally paper. So this is not paper. This is a very good armor set defensively as well. But it boasts plus 28 mage defense. This mage defense is lower than that of Ancestral Robes, but the other defenses here more than make up for it. Keep in mind, when you're wearing melee armor, you have no mage defense, right? So this giving you even a little bit is a big deal when you're camping an armor set. So this is a very, 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 very tanky set of armor. More so than you would probably think, even though it's less defense than Bandos. This is going to give you solid defense against multiple styles. There's a whopping plus 16 prayer bonus, barely shy of proselytes plus 18. Yeah, an insane amount of prayer bonus. It's lower than plus 24 offered by Sunfire. Yeah, but Sunfire is rune armor, so not very useful. So this is a useful armor set with a ton of prayer. More melee strength than Bandos and Oathplate, but the full set is 5 melee strength less than Torva's, meaning you'd always gain a max hit with melee and Torva, maybe even 2 max hits in some setups. Magic damage in line with Virtus, but less than Ancestral. This means that if your max hit with no armor on is 34 or above, you'd always get an additional max hit with the Ancestral set over this set. This set might not be the most valuable pickup of all time, but the stab bonuses coupled with prayer bonus and positive mage defense might give it use cases beyond other melee sets in some instances.
Mage Tank Inferno will be buff with this armor. This makes Inferno kind of crazy easy now. The Mage Tank strat is online with this.
For players looking for a solid all-rounder set and getting to grips with raiding in general, we think this could be a really desirable unlock and well worth the space in the bank. No more bringing Void to learn the Theater of Blood and wondering why all you've done is slam Sarah Brews. Yeah, I guess it would be okay on Tob. Interesting take there. This set's obviously unlike anything else we've made, so we're really keen to hear what you make of it. All right, let me get my thoughts on this, because I don't like this set. I don't like it. A lot of, you'll know, like a lot of my guides for raids and stuff, like budget-wise, will include hybrid armor. You'll see me, I have a guide on Cox with Blue Moon. I have a guide for Toa with Blue Moon and Mixed Hide for your first 500. So hybrid armor has a lot of use in raids, even when that armor is awful, right? Mm-hmm. Like, those armor sets just barely give you a little bit of melee strength, and they are paper. But the trade-offs are worth it because it's saving you 2 slots. My experience with using hybrid armor in raids, I've done all kinds of budget challenges. I've played Iron Man where like you're bringing these budget armor sets all the time, is that when you're using hybrid armor in raids, it's very, very annoying. Because what happens is you have a set that works for 2 styles, and then you'll have a second set of armor that fits the last style. So like with this, you would need ranged armor, right? You bring Masori or Eclipse or something like that. So you're going to switch into this armor, and then let's say you need to range right after, you're going to do a switch into the ranged. Now your armors are all mixed up. Like, they're all over your inventory. So it's actually really, really awkward to use hybrid armor in raids. Even though it seems like it should be like the easy mode armor, like you're doing less switches, it should be easier to use. It's harder in like an annoying way, if that makes sense. Like, I would rather always be bringing 2 full sets of armor than bringing hybrid.
Having to rearrange your inventory with hybrid gear is annoying, but it's not that bad. I mean, in between ticks when you're doing your attacks, you have to move your gear back into the positions. I mean, I don't think that this specifically is a good reason not to have hybrid armor in the game. I think you just have to get better at reorganizing your inventory and putting things back where they need to be in between the ticks.
I also think this armor is even further devaluing the other armor sets. It might be like, oh, but it's not Biss, right?
Now, this is true. This is going to devalue Oathplate. It's going to devalue Torva. It's going to devalue Virtus, possibly Ancestral. It's going to devalue it's going to devalue and maybe even Inquisitor. I think it devalues everything. I think it devalues every other armor set, because a lot of people are going to go straight for this one. And they're going to be like, this is good enough. It's close enough to Biss. I think it devalues literally everything. And in my opinion, as an Iron Man, I'm looking at this thinking, if this gear is in the game, I'm skipping all the content. I'm going straight to this. And I'm going to call it a day. And I don't know if that's great for the game. That is my biggest problem with it. Also, for max players, they're looking at this like, it's okay gear, but I'm not going to use it, because the people that are in max, they're going to be doing Ancestral Oathplate Torva switches. They're not really super excited about this. So for me, I think it replaces too many pieces of gear, and it's also not exciting for people that already have it.
But this is the thing, in raids, here's an example for CM speedruns, right? Challenge mode, Chambers of Xeric. The meta is to not bring any healing into the raid whatsoever. No prayer potions, nothing. Purely rely on the potion drops from the bosses and bring a full 28 slot inventory of gear. And there's like 4 to 6 other gear items we could bring into Chambers that would give us more damage. If we had a bigger inventory, we would bring it, right? Well, this is a hybrid armor set, right? So if we can lose a little bit of damage off the armor and bring some more valuable items in, that's going to be worth doing. And that's the case for a lot of different variants of raids and stuff like that. So this armor set is deceptively good. Like, you would think that you're not going to...
That's what I was saying earlier. The 3 extra slots that you get actually increases your damage, because you'll be able to bring more items now that give you more damage. So while the gear is slightly worse than the bis, you'll actually be able to bring more gear that gives you more damage that you wouldn't normally being able to bring. So it's a specific scenario possibly, but you also do more damage when you are alive and not dead. So if you have to bring more brews because maybe you're not as good of a player or whatever, you make a mistake, now you're alive instead of dead. So you're doing more damage. So those 3 extra inventory slots are really, really, really big.
To be using this very often. You're going to use it all the time at a ton of different places. Mainly raids. Raids are the main use. Do I feel like a raid should be dropping a super, super good set of hybrid armor? Honestly, no. Just because it's annoying to use and is going to be used everywhere, I feel like this is not a fun addition to the game. Less so than like the issue of like, oh, it's reducing APM. That was kind of my first thought, is like, oh, this is going to be easier to use. It's not even really easier to use. It's just like annoying. It was like when they did the mage rebalance and then we were going to have to do 9-way boot switches. Like, it's just not a kind of fun way to add gear. If this is meta at a bunch of places, it's going to make it very annoying to do switches. I personally would be looking towards adding like a new BIS armor set versus hybrid. I think a new BIS armor set coming from the raid versus hybrid makes more sense. And I'm totally okay with like the Moon style of hybrid armor, where like it's really, really bad, but in certain cases it's still useful. Right? Like you can use mixed hide for a 500 TOA to get your first Fang kit pretty easily. I would prefer, if we're going to add hybrid armor in the future, make it like lower tier rewards. Like make the stats a lot worse and make it drop from like a Desert Treasure 2 boss or something like that. I don't feel like hybrid has no place in the game, but adding really, really, really good hybrid armor, I don't know if that's the direction they should be.
This is what I was concerned with, you guys, was the hybrid gear at in-game. In-game hybrid gear, I'm not sure. That's a slippery slope. And I could see maybe them doing it with one piece of gear, like the helmet, but not a full set. And that's kind of where I stand on it. I mean, if it was just the helmet, I'd be like, I think one piece, like having it be the new Torva helm or the new Serpent helm kind of thing, like how or the new Nezi helm is probably a better example. Like I could see that working. But having it be a full set, it gets a little bit sketch.
Be pushing this. I could see this. I could see this passing the poll just because people are like, oh, I get to camp this armor set and I don't have to do switches at certain bosses. Especially if there's like bosses where you use just mage and ranged. The only boss that I can think of that's like mage and ranged is Zelra. So you're like, oh, I get to camp this at Zelra and it's going to make it really easy. Yeah, sure. And there's probably bosses that are going to come in the future that are just mage and ranged.
Mage and range, like he's talking about defense?
I just don't think this is an effective way of pushing armor forward. I would rather them focus on making like single styles better versus like an armor that does everything pretty well. It gives me the vibe of Fang, you know? The Fang just works on everything. This armor's kind of the same, where it's not quite as good as everything else, but it's good on everything, right? So this just kind of becomes the new default armor you bring everywhere. That's my concern. That's my concern. Tradable shield reward, the Rondash. And I had to look that up. I did not know how to pronounce that. Keeping on the unlike anything else.
The shield is a really cool item, man. I like the shield a lot. I'm assuming Gnome liked the shield. What did he think of the mega rare? He likes the rest. I liked the rest of them. Did he like the mega rare?
No. Smash reduces the attack speed to 3-tick, functioning as a fast, hard-hitting weapon with standard attack behavior. Okay.
Gnome's laugh gives serial killer vibes. Takes one to know one. I'm timing you out.
So it has a 3-tick crush function with a thrust function that hits multiple targets and does bonus damage the bigger it is. So it's like a scythe with a 3-tick melee function added to it. Interesting. That looks like an awful lot. Let's try to put things as simply as possible. It hits bigger targets harder, similar to the scythe, since its chain extends an additional 2 tiles. It's especially potent on targets who are weakest to crush, since it will roll damage several times and pick the highest hit. Alternatively, the extending chain can hit several small targets in a line. Against small target, okay, the fact they specify several small targets implies to me that if it's a big target, it's only hitting that. Against small targets, you can opt for the smash style to lose the benefits above but gain a hard-hitting 3-tick weapon, which will support some niche additional use cases. We're looking at you, Nylos. Yeah, this will be insane in Nylos. For those of you curious on the specific, here's what we're currently working with. Okay, right off the bat, very, very low strength bonus. Very high crush bonus. Insanely high crush bonus. Rolls damage up to 7 times, depending on how many defenses are higher than opponent's crush defense. Let me break that down. Let me break that down. Hold on. Okay. Someone in my Discord said that Nex was one this would work on. Okay, Nex is a boss that is crush weak. It's not its weakest, right? But it has a lot of things that are tankier than the crush bonus, right? So it has 40 stab, so skip that roll. Crush, okay? So 1 damage roll, 2 damage roll, 3 damage roll, 4 damage roll, 5 damage roll, 6 damage rolls. So what that means is when I swing the mace at Nex, what's going to happen is if it lands, it's going to roll once to 6 sets of die, right? Roll, 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 okay? Whatever of those dice is the largest is what it's going to go with. That's crazy. That's very, very crazy. And that's not even it at its most potential, right? Because if she was weaker to crush than stab, it would roll an extra dice. So there'd be 7 rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take the biggest dice roll you get and roll that damage.
Yeah, so it's essentially always going to hit hard. Because imagine you're just hitting a target dummy 6 or 7 times. 6, 7. And you just take the highest damage. So it's always going to hit fairly high on pretty much anything. Especially if it's weak to crush.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Has potential to be insane at the right boss. It can hit multiple enemies in a line or deal up to 50% bonus damage to larger targets. Again, implying that you can't hit things under large targets. So, yep, it's just doing bonus damage to a bigger target if that's what you're choosing to hit. And the alternate style loses piercing and damage roll effects from thrust, but attacks at a 3-tick rate. A lot of the most popular suggestions that we saw for melee weaponry centered around AoE or multiple tiles coming into play, so we're hopeful that this is a great starting point for a mega rare that fills that crush space, but is a little more exciting than just big bonk. Just like our other melee mega rare, the Scythe, you'll need to charge the breaker using some kind of resource. And Ascension shards, which you'll be able to obtain from the raid itself, much like Vials of Blood. There's not a whole lot more for us to say, so we'll leave you with all the important details and sign off. Okay, all right. I'm going to say right now, I don't think this is the perfect mega rare. I think it's got some issues. First issue I can think of is that this could end up being better than Scythe in the raid it comes from. A lot of the defenses in Tob are neutral. So I could see this beating a Scythe on many of the bosses in Tob. It's not going to win on Verzik. There's no way a Scythe doesn't win on Verzik, but I think there's a lot of bosses in Tob that this could win on. I think.
Oh, this boss will absolutely demolish on Bloat. This will be Biss on Bloat for sure.
I think that is potentially a problem that they may need to fix. But the potential for this is really cool. The fact that this is probably Biss on Nex, and it's probably Biss.
What do you mean it's bad
Mocha.
on Bloat?
Because again, Mocha's weak to crush, right? So 1 roll, 2 roll, 3 roll, 4 roll, 5 roll, 6 roll, 7 roll. So you're getting 7 rolls on Mocha. So now melee Mocha is probably meta. So melee Mocha, melee Nex. I think this is a lot of potential to shake up the meta. My concerns are just this devaluing Scythe. That's my main concern. What choice do they have? It has to fit into some style of weapon.
Guys, Scythe is going to get devalued. It already is overvalued because it does crush already. So like obviously a crush mega rare would replace crush Scythe. Like Scythe is going to be devalued at some point. So like it has to.
It's going to devalue whatever the mega rare is. I don't think it's possible to add a mega rare that is going to not devalue what it's put in the category of. And I think they did a really good job designing this. The original post
Scythe,
for the mega rare
never had
that
crush, this wouldn't be an issue.
Chain, it had things like, oh, it has like 3 different things. It's like 5 tick, and then it's 4 tick, and then it's 3 tick, and then it does different things depending on what style. This is so much.
How many hours you have on osrs? Do 150 times 24. And that doesn't count my main.
Better than that. No offense to the original post, where it's just like, yeah, you're mainly going to be using it on the thrust style. But sometimes if you can't use that, you'll swap it to smash and you'll be using that for 3-tick attack speed. That's so much easier to understand. Big thing I feel with mega rares is that they need to be strong, but simple to understand. Interesting, but simple to understand, right? Shadow is rolling all your gear, does big hit, big accuracy, right? Very, 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 very simple, but it's interesting. This is kind of the same. It's good on big targets, the same as the Scythe. And then if they are crush weak with really high defenses and everything else, it's going to be really strong. I think this could have potential to be really hard to balance in the future. I think it has potential to devalue Scythe a little bit. But man, as if they were going to make a Mega Rare, I think this is the best they could have made it. Like, honestly. My take in the original Raids reward video was that they should stray away from making Mega Rares because they're so hard to balance. They're so hard to fit in the game. Which, I don't know, that might still be the...
I agreed. I said that. I was saying this too. Like, honestly, they already have 3 Mega Rares. There's not really a place for another one. They have a melee, a ranged, and a magic one. Like, the only thing they can make is, at this point, is Tebow 2.0. Tebow's already so good, right? And really, I'm not sure if another Mega Rare belongs in the game, but if they're going to put one in, this is it. And it is going to devalue Scythe. It just has to happen. There's no other way to do it. So if they were going to put a Mega Rare in, this is it. And I think they nailed it.
Play for them is to not make this, but they tried really hard. Like, it's about as good as it could be. If you are in the camp of, I want a Mega Rare really badly, I think this is the best they could have come up with, honestly. Because, yeah, they tried really hard with it. I'm impressed, honestly. I couldn't think of anything that would work better in the game than this. I think it's still got loads of issues.
Why does a Mega Rare have to be a weapon? You should watch the chat. You should watch the chat. They will fucking riot if they put a non-Mega Rare weapon in the game. Dude, that would get downvoted so heavily. That'd probably have like a 5% upvote, bro. Like, it has to be, trust me, it has to be a weapon.
I don't hate it. And that's impressive considering how hard it is to add a new Mega Rare. Like, Jagex smashed it. They smashed it, for lack of a better word. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed, honestly. All right, and that's it for the blog. So here's my overall thoughts.
Here we go.
I think the hybrid armor is not something they should look at adding. I wouldn't mind an armor set necessarily being this or something like that, but I think really, really strong hybrid armor is not a good direction for the game. Personally, I don't think it fits very well. Everything else sounds really good on paper. There could be some issues I'm not thinking of. There could be some blind spots. I don't have the numbers yet on the calcs to see if stuff is broken or too weak, but their design philosophy on everything sounds really, really cool. And I'm very impressed by the Mega Rare. I'm very, very impressed. I think it's about as good as they could have possibly made it. If they're trying to make a Mega Rare, even if it's not the best play, I think it's as good as they possibly could have made it. I'm really curious what that ends up looking like in numbers as well. It's very, very, very hard to calc the breaker, so I'm going to need DPS calcs to add that. I think there's problems with it devaluing Scythe probably a few places, and they're going to have to keep that in mind, but I'm very, very impressed. Honestly, very impressed with this. They clearly worked very hard on this. I personally really like that the new Mega Rare is potentially going to be really good on Nex and Doom. I think it's just going to totally change up what you do with those bosses, and it's cool that this is actually shaking up how you're approaching things versus just like being a better Scythe everywhere, because that's kind of what I thought they were going to end up adding, and it's not really that. So that's really, really good. We just finished Deadman mode, so that has concluded.
There we go, guys. Gnome's take, pretty similar to mine. You could probably say that Gnome got his take from me because I watched his video after I read everything and gave, my opinion on everything. So let's just let that be known. Everyone was thinking it is what it is. Obviously, I'm more aerodynamic than Gnome, so I got to the point quicker. Didn't have the hair to slow me down. But if you were just catching up, the TLDR is that everything, all the proposed items look good. The weapons look great. The shield looks pretty cool. Except for the armor feels a bit overtuned. And we don't know if there's a place for hybrid in-game gear in old school RuneScape, because it feels a little bit game breaking. It allows people who are not in the end game yet to kind of skip a lot of content to get there. And it doesn't provide something for max players to look forward to getting, because they're probably not going to use it very much if they already have the actual BIS items and they're capable of doing the 7-way swaps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the TLDR is it's a bit too good, and also it's not good enough for the people that already have everything. So I think that's where we're at with the armor. My suggestion was get rid of maybe the chest and the legs, and maybe just do a hybrid helmet slot and have that kind of be the new item that people camp, but never tribrid. Maybe a hybrid helmet slot could work, like a new Nezanot helmet type of thing. But I'll let Jagex kind of come up with that on their own. Personally, the range weapon could wait. Having an upgrade for the blowpipe, it's okay. You're not completing this raid with torso and whip, though? Guys, I have a Nox Halley and a Fang, and so far you've been able to complete pretty much every raid with that.